Why do people still use 22 LR revolvers as defense weapons? Hello everyone, this is Joe from Line 45, and in this video we'll talk about the potential reasons why many people are still using 22 LR revolvers as a personal defense or home defense weapon, considering the fact that there are other far better rounds when it comes to terminal performance. I'll also share my thoughts on whether I consider the 22 LR as a silly round, because spoiler alert, I think it's not. Before we get underway, please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons. I know it's a chore, but these simple clicks help my channel immensely. Now, let's return to the video. .22 LR revolver. No BS stand. The 22 LR stands as one of my most favoured rounds ever created, but is this rimfire option truly a prudent choice for self-defense? The firearm I carry represents merely a fraction of my comprehensive self-defense strategy. It's the gun enthusiasts who obsess more over the specific firearm one chooses. To be honest, if I navigate through life in a state of preparedness and exercise caution when necessary, the likelihood of actually employing a gun in a self-defense situation remains rather slim. Moreover, the necessity of discharging the firearm after introducing it into a scenario is even smaller. Nevertheless, when I find myself in dire need of a gun, no substitute will suffice, and a 22 LR undoubtedly surpasses having no gun at all. Our present concern pertains to the wisdom and adequacy of a gun chambered for the 22 long rifle. When it comes to life-saving duties, the majority will swiftly assert its inadequacy. Some may permit its use for the elderly, individuals with limited training, or those who possess weak arm and hand strength. I've often found this puzzling. If a 22 proves suitable for those individuals, why would it not be suitable for everyone else? It resembles the well-known deer rifle notion, where a lesser cartridge finds acceptance for children or individuals of smaller stature. If a child can successfully hunt a deer with a rifle, shouldn't a larger person achieve a similar outcome using the same firearm? Let's cut through the preconceived notions and expert opinions and instead adopt an unbiased examination of the 22 LR for personal protection solely from a ballistic standpoint. However, before delving into that, it's important to acknowledge the fact that merely possessing a gun sometimes suffices. This substantiates the notion that having a gun might hold greater significance than the specific type or even its loaded state. Please, don't misunderstand my intention. I'm not suggesting the use of an unloaded gun for self-defense. I'm simply stating facts. No one appreciates the experience of having a gun pointed at them, and only a few individuals are willing to take the risk of getting shot. However, circumstances may arise when discharging the firearm becomes necessary. Sometimes, the act of firing a shot, even if it fails to hit its target, proves adequate to halt an assault. And occasionally, when a wrongdoer sustains any bullet impact in any location, it can sufficiently terminate hostilities. When we contemplate whether one's firearm can instantaneously render a felon incapable, we are confronting an improbable worst-case scenario. Are 22 LR revolvers really silly? From the standpoint of terminal ballistics, the 22 LR is not all that impressive, especially when fired from a short handgun barrel. But it's also much more capable than a lot of people give it credit for. We'll be doing some extensive velocity and ballistics gel testing with different 22 loads sometime in the not too distant future. For now, just to illustrate the point, I ran one quick gel test with a CCI Velociter 40 grain small game load that's been known to perform relatively well out of handguns. Using a 1.9-inch snub-nose revolver, all 5 rounds penetrated between 10 and 12 inches. There was no expansion, but we don't really expect a 22 to expand. Penetration is by far the most important attribute. The FBI uses a minimum standard of 12 inches of penetration for duty ammo, but 10 inches is nothing to sneeze at. With good shot placement, a bullet from a 22 handgun should be more than capable of reaching the vital organs to physically disable an attacker. But whenever possible, we always want to corroborate gel tests with what we've been observed in the real-world use. How could a bullet incapacitate a target? Let's dive into how a bullet from a handgun can swiftly incapacitate a target. Painful wounds can prompt voluntary surrender, or, more often, a change of heart. However, what I'm referring to are wounds that trigger an involuntary psychological response. There are 4 ways that this can occur. Damage to the central nervous system. A bullet piercing the brain can lead to immediate collapse and often result in death. But don't mistake it just for any headshot. Sometimes a headshot merely causes superficial wounds. Disrupting support structures can bring a person down. A bullet shattering the pelvic support or severing the spine can incapacitate an individual due to bone or nerve damage. Yet, even when down, they may still pose a threat, particularly if they're armed. Involuntary collapse presents a hopeful possibility when targeting an attacker. The problem lies in our incomplete understanding of why this collapse occurs. It could be the body's reaction to pain, a subconscious or neurological response. Either way, it remains unpredictable and cannot be relied upon. Death. Once a person meets their demise, they cease to pose a threat. However, the process of dying from a bullet wound requires time. It involves inducing hemorrhaging, leading to sufficient blood loss that deprives the brain of activity. In the shorter end, this process may take approximately 10 to 20 seconds, while on the longer end, it could extend to 10 to 20 minutes. It's crucial to approach discussions about the incapacitating effects of bullets with caution, acknowledging the complexities and various influencing factors involved. So, can the 22LR do these things and potentially save your life? Let's examine whether the 22LR is capable of producing the desired reactions and potentially saving lives. The FBI, renowned for its expertise, states that a handgun bullet should provide a minimum of 12 inches of penetration to be deemed suitable for their agents. Can a 22LR bullet achieve the 12-inch penetration requirement from either a handgun or a rifle? I conducted tests using 4 different loads to find out. Among these loads, the CCI 40-grain Velociter hollow point successfully met the benchmark when fired from a rifle with a 16-inch barrel, as well as from handguns with 2.4-inch and 5-inch barrels. Penetration depths were recorded at 14.5, 15, and 12 inches respectively. Another load with higher velocity, the CCI Stinger, achieved a penetration depth of 8 to 10 inches when fired from the same firearms. CCI's 32 and 40 grain segmented hollow point loads penetrated between 5 and 10 inches. However, the segmented hollow point design splits into 3 projectiles during penetration, resulting in a 3-pronged wound cavity, albeit shallow. If penetration is your primary objective, opting for medium to high velocity 40 grain bullets for the 22 long rifle would be recommended. Nevertheless, that might not necessarily be your best option, especially if you had reservations about potentially causing lethal harm to another individual. When employing a handgun to halt a violent attack, the goal is to stop the attack itself. Any intentions beyond that could be construed as malicious, leading to severe legal consequences. That's why non-lethal devices like pepper spray and stun guns are popular choices since they inflict pain. Consider the scenario of shooting an attacker in the face with a 22 LR load from a handgun. At a distance of approximately 6 feet, this action has a low likelihood of being lethal but a high chance of inducing significant pain and temporary, if not permanent, blindness. Any of these outcomes should be sufficient to provoke a change of heart or the involuntary surrender you seek. In fact, imagine shooting an attacker in the face with any 22 LR load. While it may not carry the same impact as a bullet from a .357 Magnum, it will undoubtedly cause pain. Handguns and rifles chambered in the 22 LR offer minimal recoil, making them easier for most people to shoot with enhanced accuracy and speed. You can fire around 10 precise shots from a semi-automatic 22 pistol or rifle in the same time it takes to fire 5 or 6 shots from a centerfire handgun or rifle. In other words, using a 22 LR, you can effectively shoot an assailant nearly twice as many times within the same time frame as you would with a 9mm handgun or rifle. So, what's the score? When it comes to defensive handguns typically carried for personal protection, their primary function is to deliver pain. When you shoot a handgun to save your life, your best hope is that it inflicts enough pain to deter the attacker. Concealable handguns, which are often carried for extended periods, simply lack the effectiveness to cause instant incapacitation. However, they excel in convincing someone to halt their hostile actions. Considering all this, a 22 long rifle handgun wouldn't be my top choice for everyday carry as a personal protection firearm. The ability to inflict pain increases with larger calibers, and modern high-tech bullets designed for cartridges like 380, 9mm, 40 S&W, and 45 Auto provide improved performance. Nevertheless, I would prefer having a 22 LR handgun for personal protection over a stun gun, which requires close proximity, or pepper spray, which relies on favourable wind conditions. When I point a 22 LR handgun at an assailant, there's a good chance they will momentarily pause, just like most bad guys do when they're confronted with the sight of a firearm. Few things capture attention better. While a 22 LR may not be the optimal choice for personal protection, it doesn't mean it can't be a viable option. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more gun videos like this, just click the subscribe button and notification bell. Take care and stay safe.